And after this, they have to immediately go to the melee setup and play grand finals.
We got to keep things moving over here.
I just love, like, I've never had to experience that before, where you play someone in one game and then have to go to another bracket and play this exact same person, no matter what the past results were in a different game.
Well, we're not worrying about Melee right now. We're worrying about Smash Wii U, and we're here game 1 on Battlefield. So, Corrin loves tri-plats, so much room to maneuver around. Peach loves lots of space. She loves big blast zones because it keeps her alive well and it gives her plenty of room to wait things out patiently. How do you feel this match is going to pan out?
Well, so Frozen versus LingLing, it's just, like I said, Corrin does have the edge of having a long-range sword that Peach has to respect, and she can't be floating all over the place. What Peaches want to do is they just want to float. They want to float so much so they can get some nice combos going. But then, like, with LingLing with her sword, has the, sorry, not LingLing, Frozen, Corrin with her sword, has the ability to just catch her mid-air with either up tilt or side Bs, and it's going to have to respect, LingLing's going to have to respect that and have to stay a little bit more grounded and have to abuse shield more to, like, bait out the side B. But he's doing a pretty good job pushing him off stage so far.
Yeah, we've seen a good amount of this platform play so far. LingLing trying to go for these fancy combos, trying to catch Frozen off stage, but
I like that he's going for the Toad off stage because it's an active hitbox. Why not go for it if you see the up B coming? The Draconic Lunge Ascent is so, like, volatile, it just stays out for so long.
Yeah, and because pulling Toad out causes Peach to hover in place a little bit long, it just has all that much more pressure.
Yeah, and LingLing with a nice catch from that forward air, just slapping Frozen off stage. But now we see Frozen looking for a kill of himself. This could be big for him. Nice stun.
He's going to get it. The Dragon
Nice stun from the shot, dude. Got the bing, bam, boom, bada, bam. Then clawed him.
So they're both on clean percentages right now, but LingLing trying to get something started with these float cancel nairs.
And LingLing is always constantly looking for down tilt as well as an option because it puts his opponent in such a long hit stun for him to get any sort of follow-up that he wants. Normally like some sort of aerial, like a forward air. Right, Frozen trying to read a roll onto the stage with that forward smash, but LingLing respecting it and staying patient. Just waits for it to go off before getting back onto the stage. Did you see Peach like duck underneath that side B? That was insane.
Yeah, if she can do it, she can do it. But, you know, Frozen's been doing an excellent job of controlling the center stage, forcing LingLing to maneuver around. And while LingLing's been doing a fantastic job of maneuvering around all the offensive options that Frozen's putting out, Frozen is staying put. He's keeping that center stage all to himself.
And that forward smash previously is exactly what I was talking about with the whole, you can't be floating all the time because the forward smash will catch you. Even though it kind of hit LingLing's dress, it was still an active hurt box, and the side B insta-pin to win. We'll take game 1 for Free Saltine's Frozen.
So, Frozen was doing an excellent job of just keeping up with wherever LingLing was moving. Because Peach's movements they're all lateral. All of her float stuff is going to force her to move from right to left. And the jump, it's so easy to read that. It makes the movement very predictable if he stays in the air. So we're going to see if Frozen keeps up with this, or if LingLing mixes up his movement options, as we're going to stay on Battlefield for game 2.
I think it's a pretty good stage for both players. I wouldn't be surprised if this went the entire set.
I could see it, because I really don't think the stage had too much of an impact on the outcome of game 1. I feel like, you know, there really wasn't a lot of, you know, circle camping across the tri-plats or the big blast zones having a big impact. There's really just a matter of Frozen forcing LingLing to approach and punishing poor movement options.
All right, nice catch from that down air, catching it with the rainbow up air, or just kind of push him off. And you know, LingLing, after coming to the Xeno a couple months ago and just actually claiming first place in our New York City local, you know he doesn't want to lose to a New York City player here for 7th place. So he's going to try to like put some more work in there. You know, he's number 2 on the Connecticut PR, recently losing his number 1 spot to Light, who's now number 1. So LingLing's looking to prove himself a little bit at this tournament. Trying to take some big names, trying to take some big wins, and show like, hey, can I be number 1 again? I got these, this one, this one, this one, this one. Frozen would be an astounding victory to put on his record.
Yeah, you know, Frozen being PR'd in the previous quarter now, as we move into quarter 2 of 2017. But still a very notable player, regardless of PR standing.
Now we see Frozen with a little bit of offstage pressure against LingLing. LingLing trying to land down on the ground, but Frozen has so many options covered with that back air. And with the ability to tilt the forward smash downwards, you can try to catch that edge, but it does not matter. That up smash coming in clean from LingLing as he begins to take first blood this game.
Now LingLing, turnip in hand, just wants to see how he can catch Frozen approaching, but Frozen's got plenty of kill options for trying to take out this Peach. And Peach doesn't fare particularly well with Rage. She's going to be able to play that keep away game well, but it's still dangerous nonetheless.
My heart jumped out of my chest a little bit at that counter surge because Corrin's counter surge, the down B, is so strong if you catch it. But with that, she just didn't have any rage in order to get the kill off the top. So LingLing better be counting his blessings. He's trying to hover down below, just stalling out his recovery as long as possible to keep Frozen guessing how he's going to get back to the stage.
His movement's looking a lot more, I would say, ghostly even. He's staying so close to Frozen, but he's maneuvering around between air dodges and just empty hops that Frozen hasn't been able to catch him out on it like he has in Game 1.
He's trying to catch him with that neutral air. Sending him to the top. He's looking for a side B on the edge of the stage, but LingLing's holding on to all of his blessings at 145%. He just double rolls to get out of that stage edge guard scenario. Now he's flipped the tables on him.
It's one of those situations where it's such a simple option that you don't expect a player of LingLing's caliber to perform it. But in a situation where you could play the clock, you may as well.
But Frozen's going to use the Yato to just send LingLing to the top of the stage. And now Frozen's starting to make a little bit of a momentum shift in this game, throwing out a bunch of aerial attacks in order to combo the Peach.
And a forward air is going to put things back in LingLing's favor as far as stage control is concerned. And this is the worry when you're in a situation like this where you want to fish for the kill. This is where Peach really does strive, where you're patient, you wait for the approach. Because if a Peach is able to stay in the air and move freely around, she can punish anything that comes out.
That was super scary for LingLing because he's sitting at only at 88% with a rage-filled Frozen. He's closing the gap between the percents as he continues to read him, send him from the left side of the stage to the right side of the stage. LingLing just wants some sort of stage control. Can he get it?
You know, Frozen's just been able to utilize Dragon Lunge to maneuver around the base platform, and it's really been hurting LingLing in this this last stock,
But this could be really big for LingLing. He's got the turnip. He tried to get the trump, but he went a little bit too early, and Frozen ended up trumping him. They just keep sending each other to the opposite sides of the stage, almost hitting the blast zones. Again, but that time he actually solidified the kill using the crown from the forward air, showing I am a princess of the Mushroom Kingdom for a reason. Did she win, Hangman? Did she win?
I think she won.
I think she won too.
I think she took that game
She
pretty
took
fairly.
that game pretty solidly. I mean, Frozen was starting to make that shift in the comeback at the end, and I was like, LingLing.
He was adapting well, but on the whole, LingLing fully adapted out of Game 1. He's seeing how Frozen's playing, and he's forcing him to play out of his comfort zone. He's forcing Frozen to approach, and while Frozen might have very well calculated approaches, Corrin's not the best kind of character for that, especially against Peach.
And with the slow movement speed that Corrin has, you know, having some pretty abysmal running speed.
Yeah, it's on the lower end of it, but
he's still able to play the wall-out game. So, like I said, he's going to try to play. He's going to Dreamland, just want a little bit of change of pace. You know, he's probably thinking that, man, when I got that counter surge, that didn't kill you off the top. Let's go to a little slightly lower ceiling. Maybe that'll get the kill this time.
just move a floor upwards.
Just move a floor upwards, because Dreamland does have a lower blast zone than Battlefield. And the platforms are spaced slightly different, so it's a little different, but we're running the recommended rule set where the stages are actually combined, intertwined.
Yeah, but I don't see either of these players banning triplats. It's just because
they both love it.
It's working so well for them. Why would they? And
oh, the ledge got in the way of Frozen's follow-up. He tried to get that follow-up with the aerial draconic lunge, and it just
didn't pan out for him.
Wispy Woods, you sneaky guy.
Wispy, he's eyeing this match intently. He wants to see how he wants to impact it.
Yeah, he's ready for CEO Dreamland next week. But you know who's not Frozen, because he got that kill against LingLing, taken first stock.
Yeah, LingLing. And that was pretty early on in that stock, too, with only having 40% by the time he managed to take LingLing's stock. He's got a bit of a work ahead of him.
And once again, doing the aerial draconic lunge. He goes for the pivot grab to, you know, try to just outspace LingLing just a little bit.
It just allows him to freely return back on stage. That's one of the things about triplats that you have to worry about facing Corrin, is that there's so much variety in how he can recover.
He just called her out. He's like, LingLing, you cannot just hover there. Here is my side B.
You can't let Peach maneuver around you all you want because there's so much that she gets off of float. So you have to put the call out there every so often. You have to challenge it.
And that was an amazing trap from Frozen. He charged a forward smash to try to force LingLing to get back onto the stage, forcing him to go into a panic roll ledge so he can immediately just stand still and go for a jab. But you know what? LingLing said, here's my turnip, here's my vegetable, I cook it just for you, and then here's my forward air, my crown, to take home the prize.
Just enough hit stun to leave him in place for that forward air. But 92% on the board, this could get volatile very quick. We've seen previously that LingLing can, in fact, make up the percent deficit, but Frozen doesn't have trouble killing if he can stay locked down where he wants to.
Well, he's looking for a down tilt, and LingLing staying airborne to avoid it. Okay, nice turnaround grab. He's going to be able to get some damage off of that. Goes for the back air. Doesn't get too greedy, doesn't overextend into a second hit. Opts to just stay back instead. You can't overextend when you're at this higher percent.
You know, that's a factor that both of these players have been very aware of. As soon as they get in these stray hits, they only go for like 1 or 2 connecting shots. They don't try to overextend because they know how dangerous that can be against either of these characters.
In a last stock, last game situation, like you just got to be playing on point, super careful like that. As Frozen's starting to approach 57%, LingLing is still in this game. Can he survive? Yes, he does. He DIs it. He's sitting at 133%. Can he get back onto the stage?
And with the threat from the Dragon Lunge, Frozen putting out a bit of pressure, but he knows to try and keep things safe, or else he's going to eat a rage forward air, and that could potentially kill even at these percentages.
Frozen's just trying to get back down to the ground, but LingLing's not letting him as they go back to the neutral. LingLing opts to run away to try to pick up a vegetable to apply a little bit of shield pressure, followed by the aerial. And apply more. Barely missing that forward air. Frozen like losing a little bit of hair from that swing.
And there it is. The forward air is going to be giving stage control back in favor to LingLing. Doesn't have enough time to pull a turnip and ends up eating the Dragon Lunge for it. That game's going to go to Frozen.
Frozen immediately going for the side B into the ledge, getting the kill. He just kept his patience, even though LingLing was starting to make a comeback. And it was starting to become worrisome for Frozen. I'm sure he was thinking about it the whole time because in the nature of Smash 4, making a comeback is just... It can become so simple sometimes,
right,
especially with mechanics like Rage or if you're playing Lucario. And there's just so many things that could happen. So good stuff to him for just, you know, holding on to that will.